Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, the podcast. These episodes were originally aired on Brookings Radio. Now they're on the net for you.
Hey, if you want to hear anything special on the show, reach out to us on Facebook. We're always looking for new content. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Probably the most common way for craft brewers to learn their art is through home brewing. Others learn on the job, working their way up at a brewery until they're ready to brew their own batches. Some also attend a brewing school. About 24 schools in 14 states now offer programs at various levels from a few weeks to full degrees. Seth Cook of Wooden Legs Brewing in Brookings.
We've probably talked more in depth that a lot of the brewers started as home brewers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the industry has grown, and the industry has matured, and now there are places available, and there's growing every day, where you can actually get a degree in fermentation studies.
And really, we should say, if you were going to work for Anheuser-Busch or Miller Coors or, one of the big ones, if you're a home brewer, that wasn't going to cut it. And that's how a lot of these schools got started, right? It was for the bigger breweries.
So I actually attended the Siebel Institute of Technology in Chicago, Illinois. That is a part of Lallemand yeast, one of the many derivatives of Lallemand. And they are designed in conjunction with a couple of institutions in Germany to train brewers, to train full-on production brewers. And they've adapted their program over the years to be accommodating to brew pubs, and they've changed some of their coursework, because what a brew pub does is a little bit different, and how we do things are a little bit different. You still have a lot of the same production level requirements, meaning in cleanliness and safety, but the approach is sometimes different in these smaller brew pubs, and that school has adjusted its program. But so
they do have a model now for really small microbrewery kind of things,
right? And they have a model that is really part of a food and restaurant microbrewery, kind of what we do. But they also continue to have a program, a master brewer program, where you go over and you spend part of your time in Chicago and part of your time over in Germany, hands-on approach to brewing. And this is many, many, many weeks. It might even be a full year program. And it's a partnership program. So you brew with the Germans and become a brewer.
More Beer Untapped with Perry Miller is on the way. Welcome back to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. We're talking brewing schools. Seth Cook of Wooden Legs Brewing in Brookings says there are now some classes available pretty close to home.
In the U.S., besides the Siebel Institute, there's a number of institutions that have brewing courses, and none other than SDSU has started at least some of the brewing coursework.
And because you're teaching
right,
a little.
Well, I'm helping out with one of the classes at SDSU. It's a class that actually is teaching brewing, wine, and spirits kind of in one semester, so it's a high-level class.
So it's a fermentation class.
It's a fermentation class, specifically for beverages. They've done a really good job to try to consolidate each one of the subjects. That's a lot of material, but it is an introductory class. So for those of you that are interested, you can sign up for it. You have to be 21 to take it. It's offered through the food science department. The best thing about this class is that you don't have to have any previous fermentation experience. They do a really good job of going from level 1 to level 1.5. I mean, we talk about malting, we talk about water profiles, we talk about recipe development. We're actually the class is scheduled to do an observation lab at the brewery where we are brewing a beer in conjunction with the classwork that we're doing. The class itself is not brewing the beer, but
they can't.
But they will be observing through the windows and everything else. So it'll be a Wooden Legs Brewing Company beer brewed in collaboration with the class on campus. So that's going to be kind of exciting.
That'll
coming
be cool.
up.
The cool thing too about brewing is it's so interdisciplinary. So many different sciences involved, from biology to engineering to, really multidiscipline study.
Right, and if you look at what SDSU offers, they offer a lot of the disciplines that are key to brewing. Food production comes to mind. When you look at the dairy plants.
I forgot about that part, yeah.
And how the dairy and cheese work, it is incredibly similar to brewing. Obviously, the products are a little different, but a lot of the cleanliness, a lot of the process, a lot of the controls are the same. Biology, as you said, microbiology. And then if you add the element of doing a brew pub, you dip into the entrepreneurism category, and you certainly dip into the restaurant hospitality and management. So at least the brewing that we see become popular in the U.S. really tags onto a lot of these different studies.
Finally today, the Irish Breakfast coming to Wooden Legs Brewing in Brookings this Saturday, March 16th.
Irish Breakfast is a protein-laden plate of food. So it's got 2 eggs, it's got rashers, which are basically ham steaks. We've got bangers, which are sausages. We've got black pudding and white pudding, which are fantastic puddings. We've got beans that are on the plate. We've got mushrooms on the plate. We've got tomatoes on the plate. We've got toast that just soaks up the rest of it. And I mean, it's just a massive plate of food. And what's cool is the proteins that we buy in are actually from one of the most renowned butchers in America. They actually come out of New York. So they are the legitimate black and white puddings. They are as authentic as you can get.
There are 2 sessions on Saturday. Find out more at Wooden Legs or on their Facebook page. That's it for this week's show. Until next time, drink local and drink responsibly. Thank you for listening to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, originally aired on Brookings radio stations K Country 102.3, The Hawk 107.1, and B93, and now here for your listening enjoyment as well. If you want to hear it live, it's every Wednesday and Saturday on those 3 stations.
And of course, if you're not in the Brookings area to hear it live, you can find us on the internet on your favorite podcast player. If you like this show, make sure to rate and review, or maybe even tell your friends.